Tony.
Yeah.
Tony.
What?
Where'd you get that scarf from? Are you messing with Jimmy from across the street again?
You think Jimmy could do something like this?
What I tell you about that stuff, Porcupine? Don't be doing
No,
that.
listen, I got this from the 11th Amendment, alright?
If you're messing with the 11th Amendment, then what's the purpose of that, man? It's messing you up.
Alright, listen, the reason why, the purpose of the 11th Amendment is because, listen, there's this one case I was working back in the day. One case. Chiselhome versus Georgia, alright?
Georgia? Hey, Jimmy, come here. You gotta hear this,
What
man.
you bringing Jimmy? Did you listen?
I want him to hear this.
Okay, listen, there was a whole issue with the case, alright, that led to the 11th Amendment being passed. What happened was Chiselhome sued Georgia because Georgia owed Chiselhome some money, alright? But Georgia didn't want to pay no money to Chiselhome. They were like, oh, I have sovereign immunity, so you can't sue me. So what happened, Chiselhome took it all the way up to the Supreme Court.
To the Supreme Court?
To the Supreme Court. Yeah. So what happened was, the Supreme Court had Georgia's sovereign immunity revoked. So now Chiselhome could officially sue Georgia. And when he did, Chiselhome won the case.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, but here's the kicker, alright? 2 days later, so many people were like outcrying for this decision, apparently like got people angry, that 2 days later, a senator came along, had this proposal for the 11th Amendment, and then it got passed.
You gotta be kidding me. Are you serious? You know I don't like jokes, alright?
Listen,
Are you kidding
why
me?
would I bullshit you? Why would I do that, alright?
Hey,
Two worlds,
put
in
that
this
down.
world, I have two things. My balls and my word. I break them for nobody.
Put that down. Hey!
Now, the 11th Amendment was a direct result of the case Chisholm versus Georgia. Now, the 11th Amendment states that the judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state or citizens of another foreign state. So what this means that states have immunity from lawsuits regarding monetary damages or equity relief without their consent. This also means that the federal courts are restricted from hearing lawsuits regarding the state governments by citizens from another state or another foreign country. So this applies today because, you know, if someone like Mr. Anderson wanted to sue California, California can imply its 11th Amendment to prevent the lawsuit from happening. And this is called sovereign immunity, where the state is immune from such lawsuits. So it changed our culture because with the amendment, it created this balance between the state governments and the federal governments to where one isn't necessarily more powerful than the other. And plus, with it today, it's keeping a cap on the lawsuits against the state because nowadays people are always ready to sue someone for their own personal benefit. So without the amendment, many people would just be suing the state for every little thing that happens to them just because they can. And that's why the 11th Amendment is important. Now, continue with the video. You'll like it. You seem to know a lot about the 11th Amendment, Joker.
And you seem to know a lot about Batman. I want that.
Well, I want a few more questions asked regarding the 11th Amendment. Another question being, what time era was the amendment originally passed in?
That would be the late 18th century.
Long time ago.
Very different.
Very different. Alright. When was it proposed?
That would be 2 days after the Chisholm and versus the state of Georgia case. You ever heard of that?
Yes, I think I did. That's the one where Chisholm sued the state of Georgia for infringing on payments to him.
Ah, see, you know your history.
Yeah, I read a book. Now, when was it passed?
That would be March 4th, 1794.
March 4th, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's my birthday.
I bet.
Alright. Final question. When was it ratified?
That would be February 7th, 1795. Almost a month. Over a month after your birthday.
Da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na. Hey, is that you, John Wayne?
Good evening, AJ. Good evening.
Good evening.
You have a very delicate situation in our hands. We need you to investigate the Chisholm versus the state of Georgia case. There aren't many people affiliated with the case at the moment. However, an individual by the name of John Adams has officially stated that the correct amount of states is needed to officially ratify the amendments in the Constitution. Your mission, do you choose to accept?
So, based on your information, besides Chisholm, John Adams is the only other important person?
Indeed, sir, my dear AJ, indeed, sir. And so forth, your mission, do you choose to accept?
I do accept.
And there it is. Good evening.
You can't steal Velociraptor eggs.
Sorry, man. They were for research purposes.
Whoa.
Look at all these cases, man. There's a bunch of different species.
Yeah.
What's going on over here?
I know this one. The Chisholm versus Georgia case. Now this is what started it all. This is what started the process to have the 11th Amendment added to the Constitution. What happened is Chisholm was suing Georgia over monetary issues. Now Georgia was initially going to use their sovereign immunity to deny the case. But the court ruled that Georgia can't use their sovereign immunity. So Chisholm was able to successfully sue Georgia and eventually win the case. And that's what started it all.
That's pretty tantalizing, man.
It is. Now check out this one. This
Isn't that trippy?
trippy one, yeah.
This
no,
is Hans versus Louisiana. You know what happened here?
Not at all.
Citizens can't sue their own home state, even though that's not in the 11th Amendment.
So it's like this case added on to the 11th Amendment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A little loud. So what's going on here? This is really boring.
Yeah, no, Frew and her constituents were going to sue Texas over poor health care. But Texas was able to successfully initiate their sovereign immunity. So Frew couldn't sue Texas. So instead she went after Hawkins, and Hawkins, was the fall guy for the bad health care.
Sheesh.
Go run, Billy, run! No, Billy, no!
What happened?
He was trying to be sued in a federal court by an individual. Just get the kid, hurry!
You have to do it in stabbing motion.
Stabbing motion, okay. Oh.
Did the amendment solve the problem it was created for?
Great Scots, it did!
There's some good bacon. Want some bacon?
Oh man, I don't eat bacon.
Why not? Bacon's good. Pork chops is good. It's all good.
Pig's a filthy animal, man. I don't eat filthy animals.
Filthy animals? You know what else is filthy? The 11th Amendment.
On what grounds? Define your terms.
Think about it. The 11th Amendment fortifies sovereign immunity to states, which means that a state can't be sued by its citizens, or citizens from another state, or citizens from a foreign country. That, my friend, is filthy.
I wouldn't go so far as to say filthy, but that is kind of true. You do realize, my friend Vincent, there are exceptions to the ban on lawsuits against states. Let me define my terms, motherfucker. A lawsuit can be brought in federal court against state subdivisions, such as counties, cities, and municipalities, what have you. Plus, the state can always give consent to the case, thus waiving their immunity. So if you're asking me if I would change it or alter it in some fashion, no, I wouldn't.